Okay. Hello, what's going on, guys? It's Power Games again. This is freaking awful how this is going today. I don't know. I don't know really. But welcome back. Today we're going to install a Ubuntu server with the Openssh-server included, the isc-dhcp-server, and Apache 2, which is a web server. I really can't talk today, I'm so sorry. Bind 9, which is a DNS server. We all want to install it on our Ubuntu server. So, I need to really quickly do something. LTS 2004 LTS 2004 LTS. I should start by saying why you should use an LTS instead of a normal, like the 20.10 that's out now. You could technically use that, but there is no long-term support. That's what LTS stands for. So if you're using an LTS version, they will support it for, I think, up to 10 years or 5 years or something. And the other one, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It now gets updates, but in a year or two it doesn't probably. So that's why we're using that. So, okay, we're using a English. Wait, I missed a page. We're using English because, like, if you have an issue or something, it's really nice to just look it up on the forums and sometimes the translation isn't the greatest. You sometimes just can't find anything, and especially like in other languages, maybe in Russian you can find something, but in Dutch you wouldn't be able to find anything. So we're going to choose English. We have a English keyboard here, so, or US I should say. We want to use a static IP to be able to go to the server easily, and it not having changing like IP addresses all the time. We're using a /24 subnet, which is equal to 255.255.255.0. So that's what 24 stands for. It's 3 times 8. So 255 is 1 octet. So that's a little bit of networking, but that's all networking I'm going to do today. I'm not going to use IPv6 because I have a lot of issues with it in my version of VMware. I don't know why, but it just is. I'm going to choose the address .10 because it's not in the way of VMware or anything. And I could go lower, but if VMware clashes with it, I just don't want to have to deal with that and find it out. So the gateway is 192.168.0.2. Okay, that's our gateway to the internet, which is like very useful to update and stuff. You almost can't do anything if you don't have that. Our name server is going to be ourselves, so we're going to use a loopback address so you can actually approach your own server. We're going to use Cloudflare's DNS as well, and we're going to use the DNS service of VMware, which is a local DNS server. Just forwards it, just like we're going to do with this server. So let's save that. We don't have a domain, by the way. I forgot to say that. Okay, we go to done. You can use a proxy if you want. I'm not, but it's possible. Mirror address to download like new updates and stuff. If you want to change that, go ahead, but it's probably fine as it is. If you want to use a custom storage layout, go for it, but we're not going to because it's just... I think it's quite unnecessary, but it could be necessary for your specific use case, but most of the time it isn't. Okay, we are... if you're, by the way, going to use Docker or something, a custom storage layout may be nice. I'm just saying. Okay, we don't want to change any of this. You can if you want to, but that's beyond this course, or beyond the scope of this video, I should say. So, my name is going to be webadmin. Webadmin. Web server. Username is going to be webadmin. I don't know, password is going to be webadmin. Like that. And then you just go to done. You can install Openssh-server now. I am not going to do. You could. It's nice if you want to set it up from another server or another PC. Go ahead, but yeah, you could install it. It doesn't really matter. You shouldn't reinstall the whole server because you missed that one specific thing. There's always a way around it. Just always. So if it keeps crashing if you install it, it could be the ISO that's faulty or something. It could be a lot of different things. So we got it done. If you want to get any of these, Docker may be nice, as said. Lightweight virtual machines, it's quite nice. But live patch could be very nice to like have your server always up to date and stuff. So quite nice. Group chat, you could do that. PowerShell, okay. Wormhole, it's fine. I don't know what that is. Postgres, maybe nice. Load balancing, monitoring. If you need any of this, just do it like, just press enter, and you'll get a detailed thing of what you can actually use it for. So if you want to install Docker, just go to Docker, and you can just use that then. If you want to actually use it, then just press this one, and oh, I didn't actually want to install Docker because how should I do this again? That's very useful. About this installer, Ubuntu installer, it's just all quite easy. I don't know how to delete this, probably delete or something, I don't know. But you could technically do this. I'm just going to install it because I don't know how to delete it. I hope it goes away now, but the chances are very low. No, it got away. That's nice. But that's how you see it. So you just need to go back to like the first page and then go forward again, and then it should be gone. If it now says installing Docker, I'm just going to leave, to be honest. Here you can see what it's doing. It's downloading apparently Python 3, Snap, man database. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's very useful. Let's see. All upgrades are installed, so we're going to close it. Reboot now. We're going to unmount the CD drive. So like that. And then press enter. Oh. Yes, that's done. So our login was webadmin, admin, and our password was webadmin. We're going to install a lot, so I'm going to do superuser2, which is short for which is short sudo. And I want to become the superuser, so I'm going to say that. I need to log in. And then I'm root of the whole server. So I just like that better. But okay, now we're here. We need to update the system to actually keep our software up to date, of course. The OS is now up to date, so that's nice. We need to also do that with our packages, which we do with apt upgrade. There are a few installed already, like friendly recovery, apparently GNPG, new PG or something, I don't know. OpenVM tools, Python 3, like that kind of things. And we want to install that, yes. And it's unpacking them. We want to install NetTools. NetTools is a nice program or a nice application that you can actually see what's going on. Install NetTools. I should really do it like this. NetTools. And then you can just do things like IV-conf or interface config. And you can see like a lot of things. That's our loopback. So that's our loopback address, which we used in the DNS. That's our ENS 133 or ENS 33, which is our Ethernet connection. You can see which IP address, NAT mask, broadcast address, and you can see none of it has anything dropped, so that's really nice. It's 1,000 megabits, I should say, not megabytes. That would be around 8 megabits, but okay. we also need to install the thing for the DHCP server. We do that by that commando. If you're not going to go into a root user, just put sudo in front of everything, because otherwise it just doesn't work. And that's why I personally like to go into super user for this part. So we want to install Openssh-server. Yes, we do. We want to install Apache 2 after this. Order really doesn't matter, to be honest. We want to get that. We want to get bind 9 as well. This is a large thing, by the way, so that's normal. Bind 9. Yes, we want to download that. And this is also quite big, apparently. Let's see. I'm not going into, like, if you're from a certain somewhere, from like the Netherlands or something, you can use this commando to show you what are all the settings. Like the standard language is English US UTF-8 apparently, and numeric is also US. So the difference between US and the Netherlands is we use a what's it called? We do something differently, because we don't use a what's it called? On the end of a phrase, you normally have a, you know what I mean? But we use a comma, I think it is. Or no, we still use a dot or something there. But in numbers, it's a little bit different. We annotate the decimal differently. So if you need to change that, just change it. We annotate the time differently as well. We annotate monetary differently. We do different addresses. Measurements is also different because we use the metric system. So that's basically what that is. So this is, I think, important. Time date CTL, because what's it called? Time date CTL. How do you see that again? How did it work? Ah, yeah, of course. Time date, list, time zones. And you see all kind of time zones, but it's not really nice to go through all of this. So we're going to do it different. We're going to, like, say, grep. So we want all of that information, all of this what we just got here. We want to sort that by something, like maybe the place where you're from, so, or kind of where you're from your local time zone. So really, we in the Netherlands use Amsterdam time. Amsterdam. but that will not work because Linux is uppercase sensitive. It's case sensitive basically. So if I type this in, it will work. So let's for example say you're from Fiji. I don't know. Fiji. You'll get that. If you're example from Los Angeles. Los Angeles. That probably need to be like that, but you see there, you find Los Angeles. If you're from, let's say from, like, Houston. Houston is apparently, or I misspelled it, it's also possible. Houston is just not, or is it like that? No, it's not. So Houston is apparently not in there, and that's how you find out how you find out what your time zone is, and what you need to fill in. So for me, it's Amsterdam. So we're going to use this commando, or I want to paste it in. So time date CTL, we want to set the time zone to Europe Amsterdam. So that gives me the local time. It's 11:22 at the moment. So if we do time date CTL, we should see it's 11:22, which is the same. I just said it weird, but that's how you see. So now we set our time up. We need to actually arm the server to not let in any unwanted visitors or hackers, if you may call them, whatever you want. So we want to enable a firewall. It's pretty sensible, right? We want to allow certain ports to be open, like you could do 22/TCP. But the problem with this is hackers know port 22 is used for TCP. So they're trying to connect to it, probably. That's the first thing. If you want to go into SSH, you would really start to use port 22. So, because we don't want them to get in, we're going to use a different port. We're going to use port, let's say, 9063, I don't know. Something like that. But we don't want them to get in, so we need to arm ourselves. We'll change the port later. We'll change this later in the configurations in the SSH file. But until then, we're going to use that. We also would like to have a web server. A web server, you can't unfortunately change the thing, because it always needs to go in through port A. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. But we also need the secure version of HTTP. So that's 4.4.3, which is HTTPS. And we also would like to get our DNS server up and running, which a DNS server can technically use TCP and UDP, but most of the time we just use UDP because it's way faster, and why the hell do we need to ensure that's access right, because it's just going to ask again, or it's going to ask someone else. So it really doesn't matter. So that's why we use that. Port 53 is the standard DNS server. So, okay. We also want to open a port for 67/UDP, because we also want to use a DHCP server. But if the server doesn't have that port open, it can't get requests for new. Let's see. It can't get requests for new IP addresses. So that's why we're using that. Okay, then we would like to see, or we would like to restart it to be sure that it's all in effect. UFW, yes, W or UFW status. Then you see like that's going to be our SSH port. That's going to be our HTTP port, HTTPS, DNS, and this is going to be our DHCP server. Okay, then we need to go to the SSH config, which is located in this file. Well, we just said we want to use port 9063. Okay, that's fine. You could change this as well. Not going to, but let's address family. You could change it, but I really don't know how that works. But I still need to look into that, but I haven't yet. So we want to use we don't want people to log in with the root, because it's just bad, to be honest. From a security standpoint, you should never let someone do that. So that's why we're doing that. We want to save this with Ctrl X. We want to save the modified buffer, and we want to write it to the same file. Okay, we want to restart the system ctl restart the SSH server. So I can't type apparently. And now we actually want to get out of the server, because it's just not great to be logged in as root. You should never log in as root normally, but in initial setup it's really nice, and it could save you a lot of trouble. Like for almost every commando which we did, I'm just going to let you show it. This commando should have got sudo for it. This one, 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 this one. Everything which we did. That one not. That one also not. That one also sudo. That all of this. You all need to put sudo in front of it. So that's why I personally like just go into that mode and It's just way easier to set up. Okay, we would like to log in with a key. So now I'm just going to switch over to my desktop real quickly and go to a terminal, which of course is in the same subnet, in the same address range, or whatever you want to call it. It's really important. No. I do want to make it a little bit bigger for you guys, and I want to use it full screen. So we don't have to sit behind the server anymore, which is really nice. We should actually, if we're really prone to like visitors or something, just go exit. And then that's just really nice because they now need to log in with web admin. They need to know the password. So that's why you basically want to do that. What's the time currently? 11:31. Okay. So we want to get out of this. This is a security best practice. If you're not with it, just log out. Especially if you're logged in as root or have root access. Just log out, please. It's just better. So, when you want to make an SSH key, Gen, we want to save it and that thing. You want to actually use a passphrase for it. I'm just going to use web admin for now. Web admin. And it's just made it. So, okay, now we did that. We need to wait. We need to look at the file. Wait. Oh, I love Ubuntu. We need to look at the file with this thing, and you can see from which machine it needs to, or from which machine it is. And in this way we can actually I should select all, copy. Okay, now we need to log in. You can see it's, by the way, from which user, from which machine, and this is just the RSA code that it made apparently. So now we want to log in. I did do something beforehand. So -p, we use a special port which is 900 or 9063. We want to log in as web admin, and we do at the IP address. Simple enough, right? We want to connect. Yes. We need to put on our password, admin, web admin. I should have said. We should make a directory .sh so it's invisible, so you can just see it with normal ls commando. You need to do ls -a, then you can technically see it, but you wouldn't always use ls -a because you get a lot of stuff normally. Then we get our thing in with, we get our key in with nano home or /home web admin /.ssh. slash authorized keys. That's going to be the name of our file. So we press enter. We paste our just copied thing, just copied key that we made. I should really use home instead. And we go out of this file by Ctrl X. We want to save it. We want to save it there. We want to go again into the SSHD config file. Need to log in. We need to PubKey authentication. We want that. So we max session. You can change this to like 2 or something, 3. Max authentication tries. You could, I don't know. If you really want to be secure, you can set it to 2, something. So that's, yeah. That's basically it. So let's see what we need to do. We need to go to password authentication. Press Ctrl W for the search bar. I don't think we're in the right place. PubKey authentication. Yeah, there it is. Password authentication. Want to set that to no, because we don't want anyone to log in with a password. You can still do it, but it's not nice. It's also not that safe, to be honest. We then want to restart it by doing sudo system ctl restart sshd. And we want to see the status of it, so we do that with status. Yes, and it's running 19 seconds ago, so that's fine. And it's listening on the right port and stuff, so that's all fine. Okay. We then want to check if our new key works. So we're going to do SSH -p 9063 because that's our port number that we assigned it. Want to log in as web admin. Want to log in at 192.168.1.0.10, I should say. And we want to use a key. If you place it somewhere else, you should do this. A tilde and then and then your path. But this just in the home folder. You could, otherwise you need to do it like /home I think, SSH. But if it's just your current folder, it's just a tilde. SSH and ID _RSA and want to log in as web admin, and that was our password as well. Invalid option. Yes, of course it's invalid. And that's how you log in. So that was basically that. We want to get into the dhcp config, which is this file. Web admin again. Log in. This is going to be the one and only DHCP server. So this is the official DHCP server for this whole network. Okay, then we normally would like to change this one. I personally just like this one, to be honest. It's easy. Well, we don't need a broadcast because that's actually already known. We do want an option router. We don't want a subnet because that's also known as well. We don't have an option domain. So if you have a domain server or a domain, then you can technically use it. We want to use a domain server or a DNS server, I should say. We want to have a certain range and we want a certain subnet. So 192.168.0.0 and it was a subnet of 0. So like that. .0. Where do we want to start it? Let's start it at 11 for this case. Let's see. 192.168.0.254, the last usable IP address. We want to use an option domain server, which is going to be 192.168.0.10 because that's going to be ourselves, and a backup DNS server, which is going to be Cloudflare. So like that. And then we can do Control X, I think yes, we can. Okay, we can now actually test this as well. If we actually log out for a second. And we go to our wired connection. Want to go to wired settings. I think this one's... Wait, did I actually change that? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Yes. Okay, to manual. And then we're going to get an IP address again. And that's just still the same. Apply. I don't know how it's working, but it is apparently. Yeah, that's logical. It's just... What the hell? It's really weird. Because it thinks it has connection. But it doesn't. That's weird. Let's just turn it off for a second. And let's turn it on again. I know what I forgot. Just going to log in here because it's quicker for now. Sudo systemctl restart. It's called yes. And now we want to see how it's doing. Status 5 seconds ago. Looks nice. Let's see. Yes, it did. It did get a new IP, and I forgot something because we don't have internet. Freaking hell. Let's go back to our server. Did you see the DHCP request was coming in? Let's go into the DHCP config because I am apparently blind. 192.168.0.2 and Control X, yes, yes, and then restart. I want to see the status again. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if it did something. A DHCP request was made and was successful. Okay, that works. And now our default root is set up as well. Everything's set up. So that's nice. Okay. We would like to see if we can. By the way, this doesn't work. And or it shouldn't, at least. We really should disallow ICMP traffic, but okay. It works. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. We need to open a web browser now, which we need to test if the server is actually working already. And 192.168.0.10. Yes. And there's our default page. And this is our local server, local IP address. So that's all working. And now this is just like we now need to use this commando actually going to shrink it down a little. We need to use that commando to actually see, or not see, to actually create a key to actually like secure the website, which is really important. But the thing is with this thing, I shouldn't paste it here, by the way. I should go a few up. I need to log in first, and then I can paste it in. Paste it in. I live in the Netherlands. I'm not going to fill in. You don't need to fill in anything if you don't want to. Our name, PG. Okay, now we made our code, or we made our certificate, I should say. We can check see if our certificate is there, because or I am so sorry. I'm so sorry you need to watch this. We can check if our certificate is there with the command ls, which shows us there's mycert.crt and mycert.key. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We need to now paste those two in. You could also technically do this directly into that map, but it's nice to have a copy of it. We want to copy mycert.key to etc/ssl/private. Need to log in again. And we need to have that one, the CRT one, into what else could it be? Into certs. So now that's done. We need to change something in the Ssl config. We're just going to use all defaults you can. I think it's like redoing it and then... No, it's not redoing it. It's copying the file or something. But it's copying a file, the default Ssl config, something like that. You need to copy it, and I don't know how this works exactly, but it works. If you want to learn more about this, I would suggest looking up how to manage manage Apache 2 or something. Something in that neighborhood I would do. But okay. But this should all almost look the same. Private, that's our key. And that's mycert.key. mycert.crt. We need to save this. Yes, we want to save. Yes, we want to save it under that name. We would like to yes. Then we would like to enable each site. That commando, and we to site. I think I did that the wrong way around, but I'm not sure though. .conf. Okay, that was already enabled. Sudo system ctl restart. Apache 2, because that's what we're working on. And now, if everything is alright, we should put HTTPS double dots, I don't know what it's called in English, // and then our IP address. Okay, this is alright because we used a self-signed certificate. If you didn't use a self-signed certificate, I would suggest getting the DNS thing. Or no, it's not DNS, it's the certificate authority. You need to ask them what you need to do in your config commands. So, because this is self-signed, you can see, because this IP address uses a invalid security certificate, certified. The certificate is not trusted because it's self-signed. If you want to use a non-self-signed, but from something like a certificate authority, you need to pay money for that. Then you wouldn't get this pop-up, and it would just go straight to the site. But in this case, I will make an exception, and I will trust this one because I made it myself. It's quite logical. But that's our webpage all done. I am not going to get in on how to change this and stuff because that's way beyond this video. So let's go on to DNS with sudo nano etc/bind/named config options. Conf options, I mean. Like that. Then we want to delete this. These two, or these two in front of every thing. 192.168. Do we want that, to be honest? I don't think so. This is what our own server is going to be using as a DNS server, because we don't want to put all the DNS things on our server. That would technically create terabytes of data. If you want to do that, it's possible, but I wouldn't do that. So what we'll do is we want to use a forwarder to actually get. Wait. What was I saying again? I don't know. But I want to use Cloudflare. And I want to use Google. It's one of the most stable DNS servers around. I want to use Google again. And lastly, I just want to have a reliable backup, so we want to use our own VMware thing. .2. So if none of we want to start at the Cloudflare one, if that doesn't work, we're going to go to Google and then to Google again. This is another server of Google. It's quite similar. And if all of that doesn't work, we go ask the gateway if he knows any other IP or any other things, and he will forward it as well to another server. So that means it's basically dual forwarding, but it works. And you can actually set another thing on that as well if you want to. Okay, now we want to save this with Control X. We want to save it. Want to exit with Control X and save it with Y. You want to save it under that name. You want to restart the system or restart the application with systemctl. Restart by 9. So by 9, we're going to use ns lookup. And we want to see if some site is available, like google.com. I don't know. And it is. And look who answered it. It's 127.0.0.53, which is a loopback address. Everything beginning with the 127 range, everything beginning with 127, that's always a loopback. Always. Unless you're, of course, talking about IPv6, but okay, that's, yeah, logical. So, that's basically it then for today. Okay, that's weird, but just exit and then just reopen it and it doesn't anymore. So, that's basically all there is to it. You can, if you want to see, no. PS. You can see process IDs and stuff, and if you want to, you can see what processes are taking up, like process resources, but that's basically it for this day. I want to thank all of you guys for watching, and I hope this was very informal, or informative, I should say. So, yeah, thanks for watching, I would say, and till the next one. Bye.